Some facts. I mean, it right now is the leading cause of death amongst men in the UK, ages 16 to 54.
Correct.
That would be shocking for most people to hear.
And that's why I want to keep beating that drum. And it's going to be the same for women. In a couple of years, it'll be the same, it'll be the leading cause of death in women, because we're seeing a remarkable change in women's drinking. Women under the age of 40 now drink more than men. Why? Because they're richer than men. Women got better jobs, they got better education, better jobs, and they often live with their parents so that they can actually, they've got more disposable income. So women are actually drinking more than men. And because women have got different metabolism, they get affected more for the same consumption. So we're going to see that in women as well, and it's very scary.
Wow. And this manifests itself in personal harm, cirrhosis of the liver, cancer, and then fatal injuries based on this drinking.
That's right.
And then you even go down and break down like the years that come off your life. And
yeah, did you find that interesting?
I mean, 2 bottles of wine per day, knowing that could take off 21 years of your life is pretty sobering. And I know guys in the city that drink 2 bottles of wine a day easily.
Really?
Oh yeah. And it's kind of minimum. You're out, and that's kind of happens.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of drinking.
Well, they tell them, yeah, and this is because there's this peculiar relationship, this curvilinear relationship between alcohol and harm. It goes up very much like this. I mean, it goes up so steeply. You eventually, you just die of alcohol poisoning. You'd have to drink more than. That's one of the amazing things I discovered in my research over the years. Is in Russia, they don't die of cirrhosis. The Scots have the highest cirrhosis rates in the world because they drink enough, but they don't drink too much to instantly kill them. In Russia, they drink so much that they just die of alcohol poisoning. Half of all Russian men die of alcohol poisoning before they get cirrhosis. It's utterly absurd.
Wow. And their lifespan is really short.
That's right. It's like 15, 20 years less than ours now.
Is that an extreme example you look at sometimes?
Well, Russia's a fantastic example because we've got data going back to the Second World War. Russia must be maybe the only country outside Africa where life expectancy has gone down since the Second World War. So in Britain and most of Europe, men's life expectancy has gone up by about 12 years since the Second World War. I mean, more than women's. We're healthier, we know more, we've got better health care, we eat better, less pollution. Russians has gone down and it's all due to alcohol. But in Russia, they don't consider beer alcohol. Beer looks like lemonade. They don't count beer drink. They don't count how much we don't know how much they drink beer. They drink. They don't count it. But they do. But the drink they drink is vodka. All the vodka in Russia is made by the state. So 20 odd years ago, Gorbachev was horrified by the death rates from alcohol. So he just said, okay, next year, half the production of vodka. Just half the production. So basically, people drank less because there was less available. And you saw that, within a year, life expectancy had gone up by like 2 years. Yeah. And it went up for the next year. But the people revolted. And, Russia is quite a difficult place to live. And then it was worse. And now it's a pretty miserable place. And alcohol is the opium of the masses there. And they rebelled, and he was forced to make it more available. So life expectancy went up, and then he made it more available, it crashed. And the same thing happened about 10 years later, I think, with Yeltsin. So we've seen through government policies that this terrible, poor life expectancy is all driven by the availability of alcohol.
Right. And you think that ultimately, by showing the cost benefits, that might get some change in this country. I mean, we're always talking about the NHS and how much it's costing.
Well, I hope so. I mean, look, we can tell, we've been pointing out for decades that, as I say, every family in Britain knows someone that's been damaged by alcohol. But, and this is an important point in the book, people don't do very much because they enjoy alcohol. So how can you get people then to be more rational? And I think the financial argument is easily what I'm going to try, because people people concerned about money. So if you could see that they would actually be better off if we all drank less, or if you'd have to drink a lot less. You just have to reorganise your drinking in society so that the people who are most harmed are less harmed. Right. And then we all benefit.
Now, what's the reaction normally when you give people these stats and tell people what's going on? They don't want to hear it.
No. I mean, it's... the people that come to my lectures tend to... they tend to be believers. They tend to be interested, and the problem is that the people who don't come to my lectures are in the bar and the pub drinking. It's getting that message out to people that we should get it. And so it's got to be taught at schools. One of the real problems, the last government has been very remiss. It's essentially not made education about drugs and alcohol compulsory in schools. And I just think that's outrageous, because every family in Britain is affected by alcohol. So 10% of the kids going to school have got drunk parents. They need to know what that's about. They need to know how they can seek help. There are kids at 8, 9, 10, 11 who go home and have to look after their parents because they're drunk. It's a devastating situation to be in. But we don't allow the children to talk about it because we don't talk about alcohol and drugs at school.